So each week, I dive into a controversy or a misunderstanding surrounding a phenomenal woman. This segment is called Phenomenal Woman Unfiltered, and it's just to address what's been going on in the culture, what's been happening, what have phenomenal women been up to, and whether we need to talk to any in particular. And this week, we are talking to Kemi Badenoch. Kemi, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I actually don't want to disrespect her and pronounce her name wrong, but Kemi, come to the front of the congregation, please. Can you everyone move out of the way? Let Kemi come to the front of the Phenomenal Women Conference, because we need to have a discussion. We need to have a talk about what's going on. Now, this is going to be controversial. I know it is. And I know you guys are gonna be on my neck. The reason why I'm going to talk about her in Phenomenal Women Unfiltered is because, as much as I do not agree with Kemi Badenoch at all, and we'll get into that, she is a black woman who has been able to get a very high position. She's currently trying to battle for leadership of the Conservative Party in the UK. So we can't take that away from her. We cannot. We may not agree with her views. We may not accept anything that she says. I don't. But I have to give her dues where her dues are fair, or whatever the phrase is. She has done what she needs to do to get to the stage in her career and her life where she can be going toe to toe with other conservative members, in order to challenge for the conservative leadership. Good for her. Clearly that's what she's wanted. Clearly that's what she's been aiming for. That is a phenomenal feat in my eyes. However, and it's a big however, Kemi Badenoch, every interview she's had over the last few weeks. So there's a lot of interviews happening because, if you guys are not in the UK, you won't be following this. There's a lot going on with the US elections and stuff. So I could imagine that's where most of the focus is if you're in the US. But over here, the Conservative Party need a new leader, right? Because Rishi Sunak is stepping down. Or has he been kicked? No, he hasn't been kicked out. He's stepping down. They're all battling, blah, 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 blah. So there's been a lot of airtime. She's been getting a lot of airtime because she's been having interviews. She's been outside doing all the talks. They all have. But Kemi Badenoch has been saying nonsensical things. Kemi Badenoch has been saying nonsensical things that make it hard to listen to what she's saying. It makes it hard to accept this woman is an educated woman. It makes it hard to understand her, because why is she saying such things? The first thing she said, which made me stop and look at her, give her several side eyes, was that when she was a teenager, she when she was a teenager, she got a part-time job working in McDonald's, and that made her working class. So she was middle class, and then she stepped into McDonald's, and when she stepped into McDonald's to do some work, as you do as a teenager when you get your kind of like your early jobs, that made her working class. Kemi, what are you talking like? What are you talking about? Is it that you feel that you have to appeal to, because everyone knows the UK is very very classist, so there's quite maybe clear social class structures in the UK, right? So you have working class, middle class, upper class, and then I guess aristocracy, and then royalty. So it's very hierarchical, and the Conservatives represent more middle to upper class interests. Labour is supposed to represent more working class interests. So maybe this is what Kemi felt she had to do to be able to appeal to the working class people, and she thought she could do that by telling them that, oh yes, when I was a teenager, when I was younger, I became working class because I worked in McDonald's. What's going on? What's happening here? She did that. Then I thought, okay, Kemi's going to sit down now because she's getting a lot of flack for this. People are just making jokes now about this comment she's made. And people are like tweeting that, oh, I used to work in this and this shop. That's when I became middle class, or I used to go to this and this area, to go clubbing. That's when I became upper class. Or like people were now joking about it because it's a joke. It's silly. Then she went on a few days or maybe a week later and was talking about maternity pay. So maternity pay, like statutory maternity pay, I believe, and please do not quote me, I can't remember. I want to say it's £186 a week, right? If you live in the UK, it might be 168. It's got 186. The numbers are there somewhere. It's under £200 a week. It's under £200 a week. I can say that quite definitively. If anyone has been to UK, if you live in the UK, I am based in London. The one thing the UK is expensive, especially if you live in a major city. But actually, no, everywhere. The UK is expensive. If you have visited the UK, say you've come here on holiday, you will know this place is expensive. What's £200 a week doing for anybody? Please. That's the statutory maternity pay, whatever. Kemi Badenoch, who is a wife and a mother, I believe. She is definitely a mother. Said that, oh, actually, it's quite excessive, and that so the under £200 a week is really excessive, and people should be more. She understands there's a falling birth rate, but people should be more responsible for themselves. What do you mean, Kemi, stop doing interviews. Stop speaking to people now. Like it's enough. Just speak at your Conservative Party conferences, because maybe they all believe you and they all accept what you're saying. But what are you talking about? People are struggling in the UK right now because of how expensive everything has become. The economy is all becoming too much. So you have people who are working full time and having to rely on food banks to help them eat. This is what's happening. This is the state of the economy in the UK right now. For you to say that the maternity statutory maternity pay is excessive when it's under £200 a week is insane. That's crazy. It's crazy talk. If anyone needs a support, it's parents and their children. They're the ones who are going to suffer. They are the vulnerable ones in this society right now. And then to even say that on the back of you knowing that people should no, let me address this properly. To even say that when you know that the birth rate is falling, so the birth rate is dropping, not as much as Korea. One day we're going to talk about Korea, but the birth rate is dropping. So therefore, people are taking more responsibility because people are saying, women especially are saying, we're not having babies. It's too expensive to have babies. We're not having them. Which is going to have a detrimental impact on the labour force and the economy in the UK. So to go onto interviews and say that the maternity rate payment is excessive when it's low is only going to further compound the issue of the falling birth rate in the UK. Kemi, stop this now. Stop this. I don't know what needs to happen. I don't know why Kemi's saying these outlandish things. I don't know, but I think there needs to be, like, I don't know, maybe politicians, when they say outlandish things, need to be fined. I don't know. Maybe there needs to be some sort of, it needs to be addressed, because you can't just be saying these things that are detrimental and harmful to the country that you want to govern. It doesn't make sense. Kemi Badenoch, it's you. You are the person who we're going to talk about in Unfiltered. Let us come. And you know what? One day I'd love to have her on the pod just to understand why she says the things that she says, and to really understand whether she 100% agrees with what she's saying. Like, do you really believe and agree with the things that you're saying? I would love to get to the bottom of that, because Kemi, I don't know. I don't know for you, babe. I don't know.